Shalom, everybody. Ariel Tzadok here from the KosherTorah School, found online at KosherTorah.com. Bringing you today lesson 4 in our daily Sefer Yetzirah series, devoted to healing, blessing, safety in our crisis period time right now. Let's be there as a positive role model of thought, projection of healing and well-being for ourselves and others. And remember, here's the motto of our time here: don't panic. We'll get through this together. Now, let's talk about Sefer Yetzirah. We are in, as I said, lesson 4. We are discussing the first Mishnah that we have in the text. And of course, we are reading from the Ketuvim Hadashim, which is the commentary of Rabbi Chaim Vital. And in Rabbi Chaim's normal way of writing, he always digresses and goes off into tangent after tangent. It's a very common factor for him. But in our short time together, we can't always run down every single tangent that the good rabbi does. I want our lessons to be not only academic, but I want them also to be, let's be blunt, interesting and relevant to you and I where we are today, so that we can walk away from this lesson in the next 15, 20 minutes and say, okay, here is now something I can do. Now, just a little point for those of you who are not familiar with all of Kabbalah speak. In the language of Kabbalah, our physical universe is called Olam Ha-Asiyah, or the world of Oseh, Asiyah, action, doing, physical form and structure. Everything that happens in this world follows its own laws, its own rules, its own regulations, laws of nature, which God ordained from the beginning. Again, and for those of you who go onto my Facebook, YouTube, Patreon pages, you will see I did a very important class, what was for me last night, on magic and medicine, in which I addressed some of these teachings on the internet now from many of my peers who are saying to you, if you look at this amulet or you gaze at these words, somehow magically, you're going to be protected from exposure to the virus. I consider such teachings not only to be false, but extremely dangerous. Now, if you want to look at things and gaze upon them and it encourages you and gives you faith, cool and groovy, great. But that should never give you license to act irresponsibly, as unfortunately many misguided religious people do. You see, many people take their religious faith and they think that somehow the religious faith is going to override Olam Asiyah. We say, well, being that faith is of a higher dimension and a plane, and we live in the lower dimension, the higher dimension should dominate the lower and overcome. You know that's not going to happen. Here, if I have this pencil in my hand, you could see the laws of gravity are always going to work and it's always going to fall. And my faith, no matter how strong it is not going to make that pencil go up. This is the world of Asiyah. These are the fundamental teachings of the Torah, of the Kabbalah, of prophecy and experience in the spiritual realm. So, whatever you need to do for hope, do. God bless you, may it make you strong. I don't care what your religion is. I don't care what your form of observance is. If you choose to turn to prayer and you pray to whatever faith that you have, fine. I don't care about any of that. But don't allow any of that, please, to put you into a position of danger by not being properly careful, not only to protect yourselves, but to protect others. You see, right now, Rabbi Haim is going to discuss with us a very simple word. The text, if you remember, it opened up with 32 wondrous paths. It says 32 paths of wondrous wisdom. God, the word in Hebrew says now Hakikah. Hakikah, spelled with 3 Hebrew letters, Het Kuf Kuf, means to engrave. God engraved our world. And you got to ask, well, what the heck does that one word mean? Well, it actually is the meaning of everything that I've been talking about for the past few minutes. You know what engraving is. Go to a jeweler and tell him you want something engraved in gold or silver. It's a carving. It's a very rigid, structured form. I'm not one for tattoos. In our Torah tradition, we don't observe that practice. But for any of you who are familiar with tattoos, you know that the expression of the tattoo is supposed to be very, very precise writing. Well, if you're having something engraved, it's also equally rather precise. If you're going to have words spelled out on your body, I love you, my darling, whatever, you don't want it misspelled. That's horrible. All right, you could actually misspell someone's name, and oh boy, that could cause trouble. Can you imagine if we want to now create something in this physical world? How about like a computer software program? And we're going to get everything in it very, very precisely right, except for maybe a small little thing here and there. What effect will it have? Those of you who know computer science will know, well, good gosh, it can affect everything. And you're absolutely correct. Our world of Asiyah is made by the very rigid and structured laws of nature, natural law. In the Oriental tradition, they refer to natural laws the Tao, the natural way and order of things. In our Kabbalistic tradition, we recognize universal Torah, which is the Torah underlying its structured, ritualized religious form, is the same thing. It's the universal way. So when Kabbalists come to study the Torah, if you're studying it for the sake of Jewish law, ritual, and practice, then you are chokek. You are carving into the understanding of your mind very strict forms for practice and observance. Whereas at the same time, what does that word chokek mean? It means pushing something in and taking something out. So there's a dual, right? Because you're putting your tool in to carve and making a separation, taking out stuff as well. So in Kabbalah, when a Kabbalist comes to study the Torah, like I said, if he's studying for Jewish law as the rabbi, that's one thing. But if he's now studying for experience of the universe, the first of the secrets he has to learn is what we call Sodot Ma'aseh Bereshit, the secrets of the order of creation. This is the school that comes before the Ma'aseh Merkavah, the school of prophetic ascent, which is what all our Kabbalistic prophetic courses here at the KosherTorah School is all about. And indeed, this Sefer Yetzirah course I've taught a number of times before in greater depth with prophetic applications and meaning. And those of you who want that course, contact me. I'm more than happy to offer that to you at something special for the time right now. But a Kabbalist has to know and understand the parameters of ascent. You remember the story of Jacob's ladder. Jacob saw a ladder. When the angels are going up and down on the ladder. Well, there's a structure of how that is to be. Whenever we seek spiritual experiences, we have this fantasy that somehow you're just floating in the air. That is a dream image, which itself is symbolic of something much deeper. The world is built on a Hakikah, an engraving. We follow specific patterns, and that is what's vital for us to understand. So I want to read to you some sections from our text today. with what Rabbi Chaim has to say about this and how it teaches us about, well, how can I say this? The importance that we need to understand about proper structure and discipline in this world. And again, I'm going to be very blunt here. A lot of people come to the study of Kabbalah and mysticism, and they want it to be an escape from all the harshness of the world around us. And they will think, mistakenly so, that because I am studying Kabbalah, I am no longer bound by all of these, rigid restrictions that either government or society or common sense is imposing on me. I'm free. Well, let me warn you about your freedom, that it comes with a responsibility. So, again, with regards to if you need to be, isolated or in self-quarantine or whatever, you know what? Just remember this. Whether or not you personally get sick isn't really so much important, right? Maybe you're like me. Now, I'm in the older age bracket, so I'm supposedly of a higher risk. Whatever, right? But I try to maintain my physical health. I exercise daily, take the proper supplements and the like. But, whether it's myself or someone else, all right? Maybe I can be exposed to the virus. Maybe I'll get through it. Maybe, I'm strong enough, not going to be a problem. But what happens if I'm exposed? I'm strong enough, but I could be contagious and pass it on to somebody else. If you need to be isolated or you need to stay away from other people, remember, it's not just you who can get sick. It's that you could pass on the sickness to others who are not as strong as you, not as capable of you as you to recover. And that could lead to their serious illness or death. You really want to be a part of that? Hakikah in the Sefer Yetzirah tells us that the rules of the laws of nature are pretty strict. And the rules of passage of viruses and contagions is part and parcel of how God created the world to be. Please don't think yourself exempt, because none of us are. Ha'inyan, the matter. When it arose in the desire of our Creator to create the world, all right? This is the secret of Atzilut Hazah. This is the secret of the emanation of that which we call our world. Our world and everything in it. We only know, perceive, and experience within the context of our humanity. We don't know and we cannot perceive or experience the universe outside of ourselves. Simply because if you're outside yourself, then who is there to experience? It's got to be you, because the experience is that which comes into you. If something is coming into something other than you, you don't get it. Now, I'm not speaking about you as an individual soul. I'm talking about the collective of all human souls, those in physical human bodies and those in bodies of all different kinds spread around the universe. Yes. You hear what I'm saying? I talk about this to my ancient alien guys all the time. When we want to talk about aliens from outer space and other planets, many of them, and they're real guys too, our sages talk about this, read my book, Aliens, Angels, and Demons. Many of them have human souls, just like us. We can sometimes, from lifetime to lifetime, incarnate over there. They can come over here. It's a big universe that God runs. Laws of operations are pretty intense. All of this is called the small face of God, from our perception, called Zah. And this is based upon the word Olam. All right, the world is besod, the secret Olam b'chesed yibaneh. Based upon the verse, it says that the world is built upon chesed. Now, chesed means mercy, but mercy, as we know, is the first of the 6 sefirot of this small face of God. The six Sefirot, of course, Hesed, Gevura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod. 3 triads, which are said to be the realms of emotions and feelings. The 3 upper are the concealed, the 3 lower revealed. We're emotional beings. That's pretty much what we are as human beings. And you're going to be surprised when you run into ET. ETs are curiously equally emotional like us. How weird, right? But how else do you explain Genesis chapter 6, where it says the sons of God came down and were attracted to human females? All right? Gals had to be pretty hot. And the guys had to have feelings for them. What can I say? That's the nature of our world. Chesed, the first of the Sefirot, is that outgoing, expansive form, which is fluid. But that outgoing, expansive form, which is fluid, needs to be contracted into a rigid form. So, this Chesed, which is the foundation of the 6 Sefirot, also includes within it all portions of the 3 worlds, which we call Binah, Yetzirah, and Asiyah. So when we talk about the 6 Sefirot of Zah, this emotional world, it includes within itself the entire construct of our human experience. It has within it intellect, emotions, and action, of course, corresponding to the names of the 3 Kabbalistic worlds, Binah, Yetzirah, and Asiyah. And it states, Abba himtzi b'bechina tipa. And then Abba brings forth or draws forth a drop, all right? Or kulo lavan, of pure white light. Sod ha'hebed legrame, which is the secret of, if you will, the life force. Hanikra b'kama mukomot, and he quotes here an Aramaic name from the Zohar, kista dahaya, all right, life force energy. But Abba hotzi or tipa shelo, and Abba brings forth this drop of his, which includes within it this power of light, the moach, or the brain, if you will, of Arich. And it brings it down through the Yesod, his Yesod, and gives to the Binah in order to start to form there. All right, here's the big deal. The upper 3 Sefirot are called Keter, Hokhma, and Binah. Real simple. Keter, represented by that great higher face of God, is called Arichanpin, the long face. It's called Ra'awa Ila'a, or the divine will. Now, if you look at the world around us and contemplate nature and the like, you get to see the invisible hand of God. That's cool. You'll understand the laws of nature, even spiritual nature. But you ever stop and say, well, why is God like that? Why did God want to do that? I mean, why did God choose 10 commandments? Why not 9? Why not 6.5? Well, talk to God, see what God says. To understand the will of God, that's above us. That's called the higher face. That's called the crown. Corona, huh? But that will, a part of it, becomes materialized and manifest in the intuitive psychic mind, that eureka moment, that idea and thought pops into your head. But that eureka moment, that thought that pops into your head, you need time to digest it, to think about it, to contemplate it, so that you can actually put it into a form and a structure that's going to materialize your great idea into a practical operational function. With regards to our present coronavirus, the scientists who are going to discover the cure, the vaccine, or whatever it's going to be, they're going to go through this process. The ideas are going to pop into their head, and they're going to need time to congeal, take a look at it, think it, process it, and put it into a form. So, the individual will, Keter. The intuitive thought, Hokhma, Abba. And that congealed form in which it takes, Binah, Ima. The relationship between Hokhma and Binah, Abba, and Ima is always referred to in sexual language. This drop, this tipa, is symbolic of human semen. Semen goes into, and you know exactly what I'm saying, and it penetrates, permeates the womb of the mother. And just as a child physically gestates in the womb of its mother, so intuitive thought gestates in the intellectual mind. And it takes a process of growing, pregnancy, birthing. All of us go through this process. Doesn't happen like that. So focus now in your life today on the things that you need processing and allow the process to proceed. Let that be our lesson for today. I see I've ran out of time. God be willing, we'll pick this up in tomorrow's lesson. God's blessings to us all. May we all be healthy. May we all safeguard our health and the healths of others and do what we need to do to overcome this virus, overcome this global crisis, to get back to better times. God's blessings to us all. I'll see you next time. Ariel Tzadok, KosherTorah School. You know where to find me, KosherTorah.com. Shalom.